Hello! Welcome to the first of my videos, which is going to take you behind the scenes into what I'm calling the story behind the story. So as you can see, I love books. These are only a few of our bookshelves in our home. So it's not necessarily a surprise that I'm a writer because I have read voraciously since I first learned how to decipher words. So about 13 or 14, I thought, hey, I think I want to be a writer, but it took another 20 years before I had the time and got my first contract and all that. So today I wanted to tell you about Beyond Justice, which is the first of my books with HarperCollins Christian Publishing, and it came out in 2017, but the actual story idea started coming together for me in late 2015, early 2016. Now, I'll often find my ideas by going through newspapers, scanning things online, just kind of looking for things that make me go, I wonder what if this had happened, or what if I put these couple things together? Could I get a story? And that's what happened with Beyond Justice. Now, Beyond Justice is the first of a very loose series. Loose because it's a group of women who went to law school together, and then each one of those women is going to kind of jump to the forefront for her book, but they all stand alone. So for Hayden, I knew she was an attorney because this is a legal romantic suspense, and I knew she had done kind of plaintiff's litigation work, but that's not enough to make me passionate about the story for years. So as I was scrolling through in late 2015 sometime, I ran across an article that was talking about this, I guess, relatively new phenomenon of unaccompanied minors crossing the border without legal clearance. And it was talking about kind of the struggles and the challenges that brings for our immigration services when you've got these kids and they're not accompanied by a parent or a relative, and they're not necessarily being met by one when they arrive. And so what are we supposed to do with them? So I started thinking about that. Then about the same time, I was in England to present a paper at an academic conference. I know, super exciting, but my husband and I were sitting at breakfast and flipping through the papers, and at that time, front and center was a photo of a Turkish military policeman carrying the lifeless body of a Syrian refugee toddler. And my heart just broke. It was kind of the Syrian refugee crisis was coming to the forefront. We were beginning to become aware of just how serious the issues were in Syria. And I ended up kind of taking those two things and going, what would it take as a mother to say things are so bad where we are that it's better to either take my young child on this very risky journey hoping to find a safe place, or to send my child alone on a journey to the United States. And that's what became the impetus for Beyond Justice. And there's actually a point in the book where Hayden is thinking those two things together and really thinking about, even though she's single at the time, she doesn't have children, just really processing what would it be like as a mother to experience it? What would it take? And so that's kind of the backdrop. What's surprising, and in this case also sad to me, is how much this issue is still so relevant today. I would have thought that, we would get it all figured out. And frankly, a few weeks ago, I think I figured out how to fix immigration because I'm kind of that person who's like, I don't just want to say there's a problem. I want to try and figure out how do we fix it. So now I just have to call one of my friends who's in Congress and say, hey, Adrian, I think I've got it figured out. This is what we should do to kind of solve the immigration crisis. But when I wrote this book and when it came out in 2017, I had no idea how much, as a country, we would still be wrestling with some of these issues. It's not a issue-focused book in the sense of like women's fiction or something like that. But that's the backdrop. That's how I got the idea that then with lots of twists and turns and creating an investigation and a lawsuit that I actually had to call the judge that I had worked for at the Court of Federal Claims after I graduated from law school and say, okay, can I do this? Is it legally feasible? Because I really need this to happen. So the case actually takes place at the Court of Federal Claims, which is where I spent a year post-law school working for a judge. The characters went to my law school. They went to George Mason. They're eating at one of my favorite restaurants in Old Town, El Porto. My friend kept texting me as she was reading this going, Cara, I'm seeing you all over Hayden. And then she did it again with Emily's story. But that's a little of the behind the scenes. And I hope you found that interesting. Feel free to drop me questions. Email me at Cara, C-A-R-A, Putman.com, or use the contact form on my website, caraputman.com. And I would love to connect with you. You can also, if you join my newsletter, which you can do on my website, caraputman.com/contact or connect, one of the two. You'll also get the prequel to this series for free, Dying for Love. So I hope you have a great day and enjoyed this look into the story behind the story.